Well, what did you take and got me?
Any home that served as a hospital during the Civil War is haunted. I say now, Trey, I do declare that this is a mighty fine day out here today. A mighty fine day.
It's been great sharing those memories with my kids and family.
What else? Hi, I hope you're having a wonderful day. Mac here. This is day 9 of our 20-day journey across America. And if this is your first time seeing one of my videos, my family and I, we live in the UK and we're traveling across the US on a 20-day excursion, and we're on day 9 of that trip. Right now we're in Beaufort, South Carolina, my wife's hometown, and we're going to go out and see all we can see around this small town and the whole area. We're in the Lowcountry. It's really exciting to be down here. I'm most fascinated by this moss that's hanging off all the trees around me. I've seen it before in Louisiana. I've never seen this much of it. I really have never seen this much moss before. It just gives everything this really odd look, especially at night, and this moss is draping off the tree limbs at night. It's really dark and eerie. I'm pretty sure there's a lot of wonderful ghost stories. We may find a ghost tour if we can. I think that'd be cool. I can't tell you when the last time was that I saw a mushroom this large. I see mushrooms in the UK, but they're typically smaller. This is a pretty large affair. I want to get the kids out, at least the boys, bring them out here and show them this. Tell them don't touch it, don't eat it. A lot of mushrooms are poisonous, but they're really cool to look at. Look at that mushroom. You ever seen a mushroom this big before?
Nope. I've never seen a mushroom that big. I have seen mushrooms, but they've been like half that size.
It's good to be back in Beaufort. I grew up here as a little girl. This is my old elementary school behind me. I remember this hill behind me used to be so big and took so much time to cross, and I look at it right now and it's really just not that big of a hill. The school still seems really big to me, and it was big to me. It still is big. So I have a ton of memories of walking over that little hill in front of the school because I used to walk to school every day from my grandparents' house. My grandmother would stand in the window and she would watch me walk to school, like walk down the street and into the schoolhouse every day.
So Blair is very nostalgic about her, youthful experiences here as a child. I can't get over all of this moss. Look at this tree right here behind us. I mean, it's just covered in this stuff. But let's go check out a little bit more of Blair's youth.
She knows who I am. She knows who I am.
Yeah.
Sorry.
How are you doing?
I'm doing well. Be careful there.
It's a lot of us,
Oh, the whole family. How many?
Yeah.
How many you got?
6.
6. You have 6 children?
Yes, ma'am.
3 and 3, or
4 and 2.
4 boys and 2 girls?
Yeah.
Outnumber you.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow. Well, girl, it's good to see you. Yeah.
It's good seeing you too.
I know Blair when I see Blair.
He said it. I was like, I don't understand.
It doesn't
what
matter.
you
She
mean.
still looks the same.
Like
She
she
still
did.
looks the same. Still looks the same. You just change your hair. That's all.
That was my childhood best friend's mother. I grew up across the street from them. We went to church together, went to school together, did everything together. So it was great seeing her. Hopefully I'll get to catch up with one of her daughters this evening. This is my childhood elementary school right here. And here is my grandparents' house over here. This is a house that I grew up in with my grandparents. I lived in this house all throughout elementary school. My grandparents died several years ago, but the house is still in the family. So I was really happy to see that this tree is still here. I thought it had gotten cut down because it was a little too close to the house, but it's still here. It was a great tree to climb on when I was a little girl, and the limbs are even lower now, so I can actually climb on it. So it's great to see the tree up still. This century plant has been growing in the yard since I was a little girl. While it's not one of my favorite plants, it's very noticeable and I know what plant it is, and I know how long it's been here. I can't believe it's almost taller than me now. My grandfather extended the pavement several times while living here, so you can see his signature right here on this ground where he extended the pavement.
This is such a picturesque area. This whole city, this whole town is just oozing southern charm. I'm really impressed with it. I've tried to move back here a couple times, but you know, the kind of work we do, we can't find much of that around here. But I enjoy coming down here with Blair. It is really beautiful here. It is much prettier than I remember even. And some of these old oak trees that are draped with moss are hundreds of years old. Some of them 200 years old, some of them up to 400 years old. Just a lot of history. Beaufort was established in 1711, an old town, one of the first towns in South Carolina, and a lot of history tied up in the Civil War and after. We're going to continue to explore this on the rest of the time here down in Beaufort in the Lowcountry.
Beaufort is a sea island. That means that it's a part of an island coastal group along South Carolina's coast. So there's a ton of islands. Beaufort itself is an island, and then it leads out to more islands like Ladies Island, St. Helena's Island, Fripp, Cat, and there's a ton more.
I'm most excited by these old ancient oak trees that are 200 years old. Some of them as old as up to 400 years old. Of course, there's the palm trees here, but it's the oak trees that are really grabbing my eye. If I wasn't so subject to being seasick, I'd absolutely want to get out there and do some of that canoeing. That looks like a lot of fun. I'm not sure if there's a race going on or a tournament or if that's a class, because some of those people looked a little inexperienced to me. Follow the mama.
Whoa, what did you take? It got me.
Looks like there was a whole event down here today. I like this outdoor amphitheater set up. It's right here over the water. It's a beautiful breeze, feels cool. But I hate that we missed it, whatever it was, we missed it. It's really cool the way they have all these benches set up out here. I like this. It really is inviting and invites, you know, the locals to come out and enjoy their public space. I've seen something similar, but this is a wonderful adaptation with a tremendous amount of benches out here. And there's enough for everyone to kind of just get out here, sit down, and enjoy the breeze and enjoy the view.
Great to see all the expansion and growth in the waterfront park. Since being here, get to come and walk along and see all the new places to sit, the new play area that's been moved because the original play area was further down. This is better for the kids, has more shade, so it's not just all out in the sun like it used to be. That's pretty nice. The amphitheater, of course, was always nice. It's great to see that they've made more seating for it. And I know the events here are probably really well liked by the community.
I could really see bed and breakfast spots doing good in this location. You know, we were going to buy a home down here at one point, Blair. I thought about buying a rental property, but it was really pricey because this area is already kind of run up in price. It's really nice, but you're going to pay for that when you're trying to buy into this market. We'll see how it works out in the future, but right now we're holding on to what we have, but we will definitely look to spend more time here. It's a beautiful location. You know, there's a nice wedding party over there. I'm not surprised to see a wedding party out here. This is exactly the kind of locale. If you don't mind the public kind of seeing you and being a part of your experience, but this is absolutely a perfect locale for a wedding party.
My grandparents are buried here.
Blair's grandparents, I went to one of their funerals several years ago, and I missed the other funeral, but we are trying to find where they're buried. It's not a massive graveyard, but it is pretty large. It's, you know, but we're willing to dedicate however much time it takes till we find the right spot. I mean, it's critical to pay respect to your previous generations. When we get to Arkansas, we're probably gonna go look for my dad's gonna go check out his resting place, go see my grandparents as well. You know, we wouldn't be here if not for those previous generations, and their lives were much harder than ours in many cases and in many situations. And yet they persevered and they survived and they made it and they thrived, and thus we're here. Oh, they're side by side, so a matching tombstone. Yes, your grandmother was named Willie Mae. That's why you have the middle name of Willow. You named after her. And Malachi has William after his grandfather, William. Hold up, great-grandfather, William.
You should have had me sooner, Mommy. It's just common knowledge. That way we could have had great-grandparents.
You still have great-grandparents. You just didn't
I could have met them.
Yeah, you could have met them. Today's been really great, sharing all the nostalgia from my childhood and showing the kids and the family around Beaufort. Tomorrow, I can't wait to get them into the culture of Beaufort and have them take part in it and have fun as well.
So we're in a real historic region of Beaufort. Blair mentioned, and she said it's called The Point. And this is where you have those old antebellum homes. Some of them I can look at and tell they're newer, but the older ones, like the first one we just looked at, is really old. These homes date back into the 1700s. And think about that clearly. That means that these homes date back into American slavery by over 100 years. So the oldest ones would have definitely been built by slaves, maintained by slaves. But they've evolved, times have changed, the homes still remain. That's part of their history, their legacy. But of course, they have over 100 years of history and legacy after the end of slavery as well. And so you have to really think about the history of America and where it started, where it is today. And there's a path, there's a twisted road that didn't start out that great for some people, but has evolved into something greater. And that's kind of how I think about it. And I know with everything going on in the world, a lot of people question whether or not America really has evolved into something greater. But I think that undeniably America really has. It is still, I believe, the land of opportunity. Blair and I have been to places like this, but they were in Charleston, South Carolina, which I hope you get a chance to make it down to Charleston. But I'm glad to see and just kind of have this experience of walking around here in Beaufort. We've spent the whole day in Beaufort. We really have not left the town. Just the whole day here spent exploring the history and exploring the relevant aspects that Blair really cares about and the parts that I care about as well. I do wonder how you could or you would afford a home like this. They're expensive, they're old, the maintenance would be, it would take a lot to maintenance them. Also, these homes are historic, so any changes that you would make would have to be approved. It'd be an undertaking. It'd definitely be worth it to do it, but it'd be an undertaking. I'm looking at the size of some of these homes. I mean, they're absolutely massive. As large as the families I have, we'd have a hard time maintaining some of this. I mean, these homes would have to have, 8, 9, 10 bedrooms, multiple bathrooms, maybe 2 kitchens. Some of the older ones have, a separate home. This is where the slave quarters would have been down below. That's what those older homes have, those lower sections. That's where they would have lived, slaves and servants. But that all still has to be maintained as a part of the home today. That's just a lot. Even if you wall off sections of it, that's a lot. They're beautiful, but I can imagine it'd take a lot of work, and a lot of effort, a lot of money, time, care, and attention to maintain one of these beautiful old antebellum homes. I will be honest with you though, the longer I stay down here, the longer I want to say, I do declare. It just is, this region here just does make one think about saying something like, I do declare. Now, Blair, I do declare that, I say now, Trey, I do declare that this is a mighty fine day out here today, a mighty fine day. I do declare. I love this. The fact that they have the moss growing up on all the steps, that takes some time and attention. You also have to cut it back to keep it shaped properly. It looks simple, but that's kind of a complex architectural thing there. It's really nice. The Joseph Johnson House, 1860, Hospital Number 6. This home served as Hospital Number 6 during the Union occupation of Beaufort in 1861 to 1865. It was a primary hospital during the war for enlisted Union African American regiments, including Massachusetts' 54th Regiment, after the Battle of Fort Wagner and Charleston Harbor. Notable patients and nurses included Sergeant William Carney, first African American recipient of the Medal of Honor, and Sergeant Lewis Douglas, Frederick Douglass' son. Wow. Harriet Tubman and Clara Barton. Wow, this place really does have some history, more history than I was anticipating. Frederick Douglass' son, Harriet Tubman. Yeah, definitely historic. Still Ghostfield though. A little bit of research online, it says that the home is haunted by a dwarf, but I would tell you any home that served as a hospital during the Civil War is haunted by more than dwarves. As soon as I walked up to the house and I started looking at it, I'm like, I have no desire to go in there. I started getting the vibe. Oh. You know the vibe. When you get the vibe, you step to the left. You might not know which ones are old or new, but you can look and you just, where would ghosts be? And that's the only thing you need to ask yourself. And if the house looks like it, where would ghosts be? Then that's when you know you're looking at one of those houses. Before I read the plaque about the house that served as a hospital, I told you I got the vibe. So that's it right there. Where would ghosts be? As long as you're thinking about that, you can pretty much stay in the clear. It would be nice to tour some of these old homes though. I don't know if they run tours of any of them. We'd look into that. We have a few days here. We may try to get into 1 or 2 of them. First African Baptist Church. It's a nice historic church. It grew out of a praise house in 1865, antebellum praise and worship house for black members of the Baptist Church of Beaufort. Yes, it's definitely been taken care of. It's wonderfully cared for. Those doors been wonderfully stained and maintained. It's a beautiful church. So I knew that Beaufort had a bit of African American history, Black American history, slavery history, but I didn't know that it was such a prominent location dating back for African Americans, and I think a lot of people don't know it. It'd be interesting if this would be really great if this information could get more broadly spread about from a historical standpoint. Talking about freed slaves, 1865, a church over 900 members at that time. That would have been a wonderful church service to attend.
Robert Smalls, who was born into slavery in Beaufort, became famous during the Civil War when he bravely commandeered a Confederate ship called the CSS Planter in 1862. He managed to sail it past Confederate defenses and delivered it to the Union Navy, which won freedom for himself, his crew, and their families. It was an incredibly heroic and ingenious act. After his heroic actions during the Civil War, Robert Smalls went on to have an incredibly impactful life. He became a successful politician, serving 5 terms in the U.S. House of Representatives. He was a strong advocate for African American rights during Reconstruction, and he worked to improve education and civil rights for formerly enslaved people. He even bought the house in Beaufort where he had been enslaved and lived there with his family, which is such a full circle moment. The Robert Smalls House is owned by the National Trust for Historic Preservation. They purchased it from the previous owners, Billy and Paul Kieserling, and it remains an important historic landmark in Beaufort, preserving the legacy of Robert Smalls and his contributions to American history.
The high schools here were named Robert Smalls High School, then it became a junior high school. My mother and aunt graduated from Robert Smalls High School here in Beaufort.
I really appreciate the fact that Beaufort has embraced its history. Like, there's some good parts of it, there's some bad parts, but they haven't run from their history. There's plaques, there's monuments, there's dedications, and they acknowledge that the work of multiple people from a lot of different perspectives. But I like to see it all kind of represented here as just pure American history. It's good to be back in the South where you have the grasshoppers, the cicadas, the crickets that create this cacophony of background noise, just constant. It goes on all night long, every night. And if you're not from down here, if you're not part of, a part of this culture in the South, didn't grow up in this, you may think that this sounds really weird or it's loud. But I tell you what, once you live here, if you live here all the time, you don't even hear it. It just becomes not even background noise. It just disappears. I remember I lived here and I didn't hear it like this. I hear it really loudly now because I haven't been here in a while. But when I lived in the South, I basically didn't hear this sound at all.
They're like 1 bedroom.
Mama, look at the breeze here. Look at the breeze.
Really? Go ahead. What else? What else? Go ahead. What else? Talk to him, boy. We've had a wonderful day exploring Beaufort. It's been great to see where Blair grew up. I'd actually never seen her old elementary before, and so it's been a learning experience for me to spend this time with her, and we're going to dig into it a bit more. But the day is falling short. We had a long day yesterday, so we didn't do as much today. But tomorrow, we're back at it again, full steam ahead. So be sure to check out that video that's coming out tomorrow. And if you haven't kept up with any of the early videos, go back and look at those older videos as well. This is day 9, and I'm excited to kind of make it to this point. If you made it to this point in the video, you know what I'm going to say. Leave me a comment to say, Matt, keep going. And that'll motivate me to keep going. We're about getting close to about halfway through this whole series. And I've enjoyed making these videos, and I appreciate all your comments. If you have any questions, just drop those down in the comments below, and I'll try to get back to them and answer them in the upcoming video. With all that said, I'll see you tomorrow.